Hello and welcome to H&S Academy. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to start working on the Microsoft Word application or how to use the Microsoft Word application. So let's get started. As you can see, the first thing we need to do is to know how to open the Word application. So if you go down to this search bar down there and type in Word, it will show you the Word application right on top. Now you could have a different Word, uh, version of it. You could have 2013 or 16 or anything. I have the 2016 one. So this is how it looks when you open it. You have some templates over here, and if you click on more templates, it will show you different templates of resumes and all sorts of different things which you can use to give you a head start for different things. So this is one thing. You've got different options here. You've got the home tab where it shows you all the templates. You have new, and then you have the open option where you can open different files, save on your PC. So these are basic things. Now let's go ahead. In order to work on something, we need to go back to home, and then let's open up a blank document here. And now we have blank Microsoft Word application and blank document open for us. Now let's start off with things on the top. We're going to go through different options here. We have different tabs, which is File, Home, Insert, Design, Layout, Preferences, Mailings, Review, View, and Help. So we'll go through each of these, and then underneath it, if you look at different things here, you have the clipboard, font, paragraph. These are called ribbons. You have different ribbons underneath each tab. So we'll go through each of these options in detail, and we'll look at how everything works. This course has been made for the beginners, but I guess everyone can learn something new from this. So stay tuned to this and make sure to like the video and leave the comments with your suggestions and how you're going to enjoy this video. So let us know at the end of the video, and do let us know what other content you would like to see in future. So with that being said, let's get started. As you can see on the top, if we go to the top right corner, we have different options here, which is minimize, and this is to go down to restore it, and then this is to close the file. You can do these with different shortcut keys as well, and I'll be making a complete video on the shortcut keys for Microsoft Word, so stay tuned for it, and it will be coming up soon. Now these are some of the options here. Now if we go to the other side of the toolbar on top, you have different options here. The main ones are this is to save the file, and then you have the redo and undo options here. This is to currently we don't have anything here, we haven't done anything, so these are not highlighted currently. And then if you want, this is a touch mode. I have the touch mode as well on this laptop, so it's showing me an additional feature over here. Turn on the touch mode as well. So this is another feature if your depends on whether your computer screen is touch supported. So it all depends on that. Otherwise, you won't have this. If you don't have a touch laptop, you won't have this thing showing up here. Now here we can also make this toolbar. We can customize this. It's called Quick Access Toolbar. So let's go ahead and click on this. We can add different options over here. We can add, for example, let's add the open option here, so it lets you open a file. We can also add a new option where we can just click on this and it opens up a new document. So we can also add different options here, and then if we don't want, for example, this part, we don't want it to show up over there, we cannot check it and it will go away. So it all depends on you. You can customize it as per your requirement. Next thing we have here, we have a document one. So by default, when you open up a Word document, it's usually named as document one by default, and then you can rename it. If once you rename it, it will change the name, and then instead of document one, it will say whatever name you will give this document. It will be shown up over here. So this is your quick access toolbar. Next thing we look at is the file option. We've pretty much gone through all the things over here. Some extra options here. So home shows you different templates. New to open up a new file. You also have templates over here, so you can use different ones. And all depends. And you have a few categories over here as well. So you use different categories to open up different types of templates. This is to open up a file. For example, on this PC we have a file saved somewhere else. We can just go to that particular file and open it, or we can browse that file and then we can select it and we can open it from here. So these are different options here. Then we have the info option, where it shows you the info for your files. Here it lets you save the file. Save as is another option if you want to save the same file with a different name, and you, for example, you have some content in one document and you want to save another copy of the same document and then make some changes in a different file. So you can go for save as rather than save. Then you have print options. Explore the print option here. Let's just show you how it looks. We'll go through this in detail later on. Then you have the share option, where you can share it via email. Also you have the export option. You can export the Word file into a PDF file, which can be required sometimes because PDFs are usually not editable, so you can use this as well. Then you have some additional options here for your account, what kind of account you're using, feedback, and some options, additional options, where it shows you additional settings. And settings is another vast topic, so we'll discuss that in a different video. So let's go ahead and get back to our blank document here. Here we're going to start with the home tab first. So here in the home tab we have different groups: clipboard, font, paragraph, styles. So these are different ribbons. So if we go for the first one, which is clipboard, and for example the first thing, another thing I want to show is this blinking line here. This is called the cursor. So if and the pointer which is moving, this is called the mouse pointer. Now if we take it up here, you'll see it changes to an arrow. However, if we come down to the document, it changes to an I sign. So this is where you can add text. This is it changes automatically to this I sign, where you can add text. So this is for that, and this is called the cursor. So let's go ahead and we're going to use a shortcut to get some text over here and here. Now before we move on to the home tab, if we look at the bottom of this page, we have some options over here, which is called, here it shows you the page number, which page you're currently on. Here it shows you the word count, how many words are there on this page or on this document, and here it shows you the language, and here it shows you if there are any kind of errors in the document, for example category or grammar mistakes or anything. It shows over here. Here you have different options to zoom in and out. Currently mine is at 170%. You can maximize it to 500% max on Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel, it is usually 400% and then 10% minimum. So this is another cool feature. If you want to see your text bigger, we're not changing the text size here, we're just zooming in so it shows up bigger. To change the size of the actual text, we have to use this part over here. So this is just to zoom in to see things in a better way. So let's make it 170 so it looks good. Okay, now let's start off with the home tab here. Now in the home tab, first thing we have is the paste option. Now inside the paste option, we have multiple options. So usually for pasting stuff, for example, if we want to paste this paragraph somewhere at the bottom, we use the shortcut key, which is Ctrl+C to copy, and then at the bottom here we can use Ctrl+V to paste it. Now as an alternate to this, we have some other options as well, which is paste, and inside paste, if we click on the little arrow here, it gives you different options. It lets you keep the source formatting, or you have the merge formatting option. You also have the option to use as a picture, and you can keep the text only. Text only is usually the preferred option, where it keeps the text and doesn't bring the formatting along with the text. So it's like a plain text. So here you can also set your default paste option, whether you want to keep it text only, you want to keep the source formatting, merge formatting. So whatever option you want to keep, you can keep it that way, and you can set that as a default option. So that's one thing. Next thing is the format painter. Now the way it works is, for example, if I am going to make this first line, let's see, we make it bold, and let's make it red in color. Now the way format painter works here is that we have selected this option. Now if we click on format painter, and then if we paint this area here, it changes the color, so it just paints it in the same way as the first option when we had selected the format painter. So if whatever text I'm going to select, it's going to change that into formatting. Sorry, I selected that. Here it's going to change the formatting of the new text which I'm going to select in same way as the above one. So this is a very cool feature, and I guess most people don't use this, but it's a very good tool if you want to just apply some kind of formatting on one part of text, and you want a similar heading to be applied somewhere else, or different sort of similar scenario. You can use this format painter option, and then you can change the outlook of the other part same as the other one as well, and that way you don't have to do the manual formatting again. So this is another cool feature. Next thing we're going to look at, and then if you click over here, it also gives you some additional features here as well. So you have the option of clipboard here. Now clipboard, the way it works is, for example, if we copy something here, it keeps on adding, wherever we copy, it keeps on adding everything onto the clipboard here. And if we want to use any of this text somewhere here, we can just use that, and then it pastes it over here. As you can see, it's all over here. So clipboard saves everything which has been copied from this document, and it saves it in different bits, and that is all saved on the side in the clipboard here. So if you've copied something, for example, we usually copy something and paste it somewhere, but then we again want to copy something which was copied earlier on. In that case, we can just go to the clipboard option, and then you can take it from there and copy it into your document. Now if you don't want to keep your the data which you've copied, you can just clear it, or if the list has become too long, then you might want to clear this so you can keep only the latest copy pasted data. So you can clear it all, or if you want to paste it all, if wherever you've copied you can paste it all together, then you can just use this option to paste everything you've copied so far. So let's go ahead and clear this for now. Let's close clipboard. Okay, now let's clear all of the text. Now another good feature, or another good shortcut, is if you want to select everything on your document, you can use the shortcut called Control A, and that way it selects all the data on your document, and then you can delete it in one day. Okay, so now it has been deleted. Let's take another new data over here. So we have some paragraphs over here. Now next thing we have is the font option. We have multiple options here. For example, let's select this. Whatever you want to do with something, you have to select it first, and then you can apply the changes on that. So let's select this first paragraph. We have multiple font options here. So once you selected your paragraph or the text which you want to change, you can just browse through different fonts available, and then as you can see on the background, it shows you a preview of how it will look when you move over to the different sections or different fonts over here. And you can also change the size, and it shows you a preview at the back end that how it looks. By default, if you go down here, there are multiple options, and then you can choose it from there. Whatever text size you want to keep. By default, usually it is 11, which is a standard one everywhere. So these are two things. Then you can also make this text bold over here, make it italic, and you can also underline things as well. And here you will see a small arrow. So wherever you see a small arrow pointing down, that means that there are some additional options available there as well. So if you click on this, here you have different options to use different types of underline options. For example, you can use a single line, double line, a thick line, dotted line, different ones over here. And for example, if you want to use any like this one, we can use this. And then we have, or if we don't want to use it, we can just go for none, or we can click on the underline option over there again, and it will take away the underline. Now here we have more underline options as well. Okay, so we can and we have different effects like strike through, double strike through, subscript. We have different options as well. Here another option is small caps. We'll go through this in a bit. Let's close this for now. Let's see, we can also apply, another cool feature is that we can also apply a color to the underline as well. So if we look at over here, as you can see, it's applying different colors. You can go for red, yellow, whatever color you want to choose from here, and we have some extra options to add different colors over here as well. So let's close this for now, and let's go back to more underline options. Now here we have different things over here, and if we so that's actually so this dialog box can also be opened through here, where click on the arrow, it opens up the same dialog box. So let's clear this for now, and let's select the next paragraph. Now here we have some other options. We can use the strike through option, and it strikes text. For example, if you want to show a student or somebody who has given you a report, and you wanted them to know that you you don't like this paragraph and you want this to be taken off the report, you can just strike it off and let them know that the paragraph you struck off that needs to be taken off from the report. So this is another cool feature. You can also use another thing here, for example X2. Now the usage for this is, there are two options. This is called subscript and this is superscript. Now I mean, these can be used in different scenarios. For example, we have the formula for water, which is H2O. Now 2 is usually written at the bottom of H. If you want to make it subscript, let's click on this. Now it looks more professional and more like the way it is usually written. Now this is one thing, and another thing is if we want to write some kind of equations like a square plus b square equals c square, and I guess this is Pythagoras theorem. Now if we want to make it a superscript so it looks like a square and b square, we use this here, and we can also use this to make it that way as a superscript. So these are some features. Now next to this, if we select this paragraph here, if we want to increase the font size of the text, we can either use this option here to increase the size, or if we want to go just like one step, one by one up, like 11 or 13, 14 this way, then we can either go up and with the arrow showing upwards, and with this one we can go down and back to 11. So these are some options, another two extra buttons to increase the font or to make it smaller. There are shortcuts for each of these as well. Like if you hover over to different options, it also shows you a shortcut key which you can use as well. So if you want to be quicker at Word, you can memorize some of these shortcut keys to make your work quicker. Next option we have here is the to change the text into different uppercase or lowercase or capitalized. So you have different options here. If you want to change this to uppercase, let's see. As you can see, it has changed everything to an uppercase. So that is one thing. Next is to change it to lowercase, so it makes it everything lowercase. By default, you can also change this to capitalize each word. So this is another one. As you can see, it has capitalized everything. Default one is the sentence case. Okay, and then you also have the toggle case option as well. So these are different options which you can use on your text to make it look the way you want this to be. Let's make it small, and then sentence case. So this is your default. Okay, and here you have different options about the text and the type of typography. Now the text, you can use different styles over here. If you hover over to different options, it shows you that you can use the text styles to change this into different styles over here. As you can see, it changes the style and the background. Now this is another cool feature. If you want your text to look nicer, or you're creating some kind of document where you want the text to appear in different styles, you can use these options. These are some pre-made templates on the dock. Other than that, you also have some other options as well. You can use the outline option, shadow, and the outline you can use different colors as well. You can use the reflection, and you can use glow, where it puts a glowing effect with different colors to the text. You can use the number styles. You can use ligatures, stylistic sets. So you have multiple options over here. Let's go ahead and close this for now. Next to this, here we have the text highlight option. For example, if we click on this, By default it is usually yellow, so it will by default it will change the text or highlight the text with the yellow color at the background. But you can use different colors as well. If you click on the arrow here, you can use green. Sorry, you have to select the text first and then click on green, or we can also click on blue. If you select it once, it changes it. There you go, you have that. So you can use all of different colors, and if you don't want to use a color, you can just click on no color, and there you go, it's all gone away. And then if you don't want to, currently if you want to use that, then you can use the key, like the pencil pointer as well to apply it. And if you don't want this, then you can just uncheck it to make it go away. Next option here is the text color or the font color. For example, if we select this and we click on the option or the little drop down arrow here, we can use different colors for our text as well. You also have the option of more colors. If you don't like any of these, you can go for more colors, or you can go for the gradient as well, where it shows you different variations of what kind of gradients you can use. And then inside gradients you even have some more options over here where you can choose different things, and you can also set the transparency as well. So this is another cool feature. Let's go ahead and close this. And for additional features of the font section, we have, if we click on the little arrow here, it shows you a dialog box with different options here. If we click on the small caps option, it changes. As you can see, you can preview things over here as well. Now what small caps does is that the first letter is of the sentence is bigger than the rest, and then the rest are in caps as well. However, those are in slightly smaller in size than the number or the character, which is the first one. So that's one use of the small caps. If you don't want to use it, you can just uncheck it. If you want it in all caps, it will be all the same. Now another good feature is we've already discussed subscript, superscript, so this part has already been discussed over here. If we don't want the all caps, another thing is to make the text hidden. Now here, this is another cool feature inside Word. If you want to hide some kind of secret data which you have, you've sent a file and you've made some part of the document, or which is a text or whatever thing it is, you can make it hidden. If you click on select the hidden and press OK, and now you'll see that you can't see that particular paragraph over here anymore. Now if you want to show that again, what you would have to do is, if you go back to that option again here, as you can see, the hidden option is unchecked already. However, we had checked it and then we had pressed OK. Now if you want to bring that paragraph back, you have to select all the text first with Ctrl A, and then go back to the font section. And here you can see, now you can see that you have the hidden option checked. So let's uncheck this. Okay, and then press OK, and now you can see that particular paragraph has come back now. So this is how you can hide a paragraph or a text, and then this is how you can bring it back as well. So we've covered the font tab or the font group. Now we're going to move on to the paragraph section. Here we have different options over here. As you can see on the top, first thing is we can use the numbering option or the bullets. you have multiple options. You can use the bullets, or you can use the number bullets. You can use different stars of this. So for example, let's clear all of this data first, and let's bring this. Let's bring some kind of list. So let's say we write some names here. James. So we have some names over here, and if we select all of these, and then if we click on this option here, it changes it into a bulleted list. Now we have multiple options over here. If you click on the little drop down arrow here, you can use different styles. You can use the circle, you can use this, you can use the tick sign, arrow. So you can use different ones over here, and here you can also use this picture style as well. Here it also shows you the way how you want this to be. If you want to use different levels, for example this one, it indents that particular list towards the right side. So for now we just want to keep it the way it is. Next thing we can do is, if we don't want the bulleted one, or if we want to make it normal again, we can just click on it again and it goes back to normal. If we want to use the numbered list within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can use this option, and you have multiple options over here inside as well. You have different styles. You can use it ABC, 1, 2, 3, in row 1, small caps. So you have different options over here, and you also have to change this level option again the same way as we had for the other option as well. Now next to this, let's go ahead and clear this. Next to this we have another list option. This way we can use it like this. Sorry, let's clear this, and if we click on this here, as you can see, we have different options over here. We can use different stars for this. For example, if we click on this, we have different options over here. So let's clear this for now. And then next to this we have the indent options. If we want, for example, that we want this list to appear on the right side, then we can go for the right indent. So if we increase the indent, we can move all the list along to the other side, and if we want to take it back, then we can go back by decreasing the indent. Now these are the options over here. Next to this we have the sort option, and this is usually, inside the Word documents it is usually not used. It is mostly used inside the tables. If we want to use this for this particular list, if we click on this, it gives you different options. Here we have the option of how we want this to be. Currently it's in ascending. If you click on ascending and then press OK, as you can see it has changed from A to Z, so it's in ascending order from A to Z. And we want to change it to descending, then here you go, it has changed the names pattern. So this is how you can make use of this little function to sort out your data as well. But as I said, it is usually used inside the tables to sort out different things inside the table. So next to this we have a little option. So this is used for the paragraph marks. Let's clear this and get a small paragraph here. Now before we move on, this little function or the little trick which I'm using to get some random text on the document, you can also customize this. For example, if we want 2 rows with 2 lines, you can use this. you center, you'll get 2 paragraphs with 2 lines on each. So this is another way of customizing this. Let's clear this and let's get a normal one. If we want to standard one, by default it brings up around 5 paragraphs, different lengths. So this is like a standard one. So now the way this option works is, if we click on this here, it will show you these paragraph marks at the end of each paragraph, and also shows you a dot where we have used a space. Now this can be very handy when you want to remove errors from any of your reports. You have a long document, and if you have if where you have this small dot, if you have any extra spacing or if you want to make changes, then this really helps you fix those problems in a longer report. Other than that, I mean, it's not much of a use. So this is that. Now let's move on to the next option here. Next is, if we select this paragraph, we have different options to align the data differently. We center it, it will go to center. If we go to right, it aligns to the right, and then this is the justify option. You can also use the shortcut key Ctrl+J to get to this, and this justifies the content in that space for you. Okay, next to this we have line and paragraph spacing. Now here you have a small drop down here. If you click on the arrow, you can set the line spacing as well. You can make it bigger, or you can shrink it to keep your text close. You can use extra options over here, like line spacing options, add space before paragraph, remove space after paragraph. For example, here, if you click on this, as you can see on the top, it has added some extra space on top of the paragraph. As you can see, it has added some space, and if we want to remove the space, as you can see, the next paragraph has come closer if we remove the space, and if we remove the space on the top as well, then it doesn't leave any space between the paragraph and the header part. So this is another cool feature. Next is, if we want to clear shading. One thing I wanted to say is, for example, if we've made this text bold, italic, underline, we have changed the size as well. Now there's a button over here which clears all the formatting which we have done. So if you've done some changes and you don't like it and you want to go back to the original version, you simply click on this and it will take away all the formatting which you've done on that particular text. So this is a really cool trick or shortcut to get back to the original data. If you messed it up and you want to go back to the original data, you can simply click on the clear formatting option and take it back to the original option without any formatting. So that's the cool option as well. Next, we were here on the shading part. You have different options. Let's select some text. Let's go ahead, and as you can see, we can also put a shade at the background of the text. Now shading is slightly different than this highlight option. Highlighting only highlights the part. For example, right now it has highlighted this, but shading actually covers the whole area of that paragraph, and it shades all of that particular location of the paragraph. So you can use different colors over here. Just use golden for now, and as you can see, if you want to make certain portion of your document highlighted, or you want to set a focus to that, you can shade it in different colors, and that way it gets highlighted. Next to this, we have border options. For example, if we want to put like a separator on this one, we can use the bottom border, or if you don't want it, then you can just click on it again. We can also use the top border, left border, right, and we can use all borders to make a box of this particular option. For example, if we use it on this one, you might see it in a better way. You can see it been converted into a box. Now next, we have some other options over here as well. Inside borders, inside horizontal border, vertical border. So you have different options over here. And then there's a horizontal line option as well. Now we can also use grid lines. So grid lines are usually used to, for example, if we have some pictures before we get to this, and if you want another picture to be drawn in the same size or on the same area, we can get out of the grid lines as well, and the grid lines are shown at the back end of this. So this is another good feature. Let's go ahead and just clean this and get some. So these were all the options over here. We are now going to go to this little arrow to get some extra options. As you can see, we have some different extra options over here as well, but these are pretty much we have covered already, so we're not going to go into details. And here we have some other options as well. So these are all the options. For example, let's check this one out. Let's see how that works. For example, we have some data here, and we have select all, and we have numbered it to 7. Now if we don't want this to be part of the numbering, this particular paragraph, you can go to the paragraph option, and here press line numbers. Okay, and it has done nothing. Okay, so we have some options over here, but these are already kind of covered, so we're not going to go into further details over here. And let's just close this. Now we're going to go to our next tab here, and the next tab here is the styles tab, or the styles ribbon. We're going to bring some text here. So here we have some text. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select this paragraph, and we're going to go to, let's click on this drop down over here, and as you can see, these are some pre-made options which you can go through to use different styles for your particular text. And now these are also used for different options. For example, here this one has no spacing. I mean, this one is heading. Now heading 2, title, subtitle, these are, I mean, good if you want. If you use these, like for example heading 1, heading 2, title, you can use these. And if you want to create a table of contents, which we'll look into later on, then these can be helpful while creating a table of contents as well. Now here you can also create a style of your own as well, and you can name it. For now we're not going to create something for now. You can also clear the formatting, and you can also apply styles by creating a new style, and then you can apply it on your text. Let's close this for now. We look at the drop down here. We have the same functionalities which were shown on the top, so this is kind of the same thing. We're not going to look into this in detail. So this is your styles ribbon covered. Then next to stars we have a couple of options over here. First one is the find option, and here if you click on find, and if we write something, for example video, then it searches for that particular word in that particular document, and then it highlights it and shows us the preview on the right side. So this is how you can find if you're looking, for example, if you have a large set of data in a big report and you're looking for a particular word in that document, or you want to get to a particular paragraph, then you can select this option and it will highlight that particular word, or it can be a full sentence as well. So you can search in different ways. This is one option. Now the next part to this is the replace option. So if you click on this, first you are looking for, first you'll put in something which you are looking for, which is with the find option which we did, and replace is the next to that. For example, if you want to change video with audio, for example, then what it will do is it will select, it will replace the video word with the, let's make it caps so it looks so we can see the difference. So, and here we can just replace the one word, or we can replace those all. So let's replace all, and as you can see, it shows you a pop-up that we've made 4 replacements in your section. And you want to search the rest of the document, and we say no for now, but you can, if you want to make changes on the whole document, you can do that as well. For now we just need to click on no, and there you go. Now you can see that it has changed from audio to video over here. Sorry, from video to audio. It has replaced the word video with the audio now. Let's save this for now. The next thing we have is the select option. This is another, like if you want to select everything, we have the shortcut for this, which is Control A. This is just to select everything in the document. You can also select the objects. Currently we don't have any objects in here, but for example, if we go to the insert tab, we add a picture. Let's say we add a shape over here. Okay, and now on Home tab, if you go to select objects, it will select this, all the objects for you. This is selected all. This is just to select the objects. Now this is actually a shape, it's not really a picture. If you had inserted a picture, it will select that picture for you. And this is another option here, select all text with similar formatting. Now let's go and let's see how that works. For example, if we use this, make it bold, underline, garlic, underline, and make it red, and then we apply the same formatting here, bold, underline, garlic, and red, and let's change this to same formatting as well. Okay, now here if we go to the select option and we click on select all text with similar formatting, first we need to select the first part of the text. Now if we want the similar text to be selected, for example anywhere else in the document, let's go ahead, go to select and select all text with similar formatting. As you can see, it has selected all the text with the same formatting here. So this is another cool trick, and in this way you can highlight different parts of the document which are in same formatting. So these are pretty much all the options over here. We're going to clear this for now. Let's remove these so it goes back to normal. So we have covered our Home tab. Now the next one we're going to look at is the Insert tab, but before that I would say it's going to be a long video, so you guys can take smaller breaks and then come back when you're ready. So then don't forget to like, share and subscribe the video and share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. I've already done some videos on different functionalities of Word, so make sure to check those on our HNS Academy channel. And also I've done some videos on the Excel as well, and I'll also be doing a detailed tutorial on Excel, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned to it so you get the notification from that Excel video as well. With that being said, let's get into our next tab, which is the Insert tab. Okay, so inside the Insert tab we have different ribbons or the groups, just like the Home tab. One thing I would say is the Home tab and Insert tab has more detail than the rest of these, so we're going to go into some details over here. So inside the Insert tab we have different options. First is the cover page. So for example, if we have some data over here, which is this, and we want a cover page. Cover page is usually the first page of the, if you're writing a report or if it is a book or something, then you want a cover page for that. By default you will get some templates over here. So if you click on cover page and then on the little arrow here, it gives you some templates over here to choose from. For example, let's see if we use this, and then what it will do is it will create another page on top of the page which you were currently on. It will add a page over here on top of that. So if we zoom out, you can see there's a cover page on the top, and then your page starts, the actual page starts from this. So let's go ahead and zoom in. Okay, so this is your cover page, and this way you can add a cover page like this. Another option is to add a blank page. If we want to insert a blank page before this, then you click on this and then it adds a blank page. On the top we have the cover page, and then we have this blank page, and then we have the normal page as well. And then next thing is page break. Now page break and blank page are similar, but there's a small difference. Page break, the way it works is if we click over here and then we click on page break, it will end that particular page where it was, and then it will take you to the next page. So the last page was ended over here, although we had the space, but it ends the page with the page break option. It goes to the next page over here. So this is how you can use these cover page, blank page and the page break options. Now we're just going to clear everything and go back to normal. Okay, so next to that we have the table option. Let's clear off the data for now so we can insert a table. Now here, if you want to insert a table, you have multiple options. If you click on add table, and here it gives you different options. You can select the number of rows, so this is like a default option. You can have a maximum of 10 rows, sorry 10 columns. You can have maximum of 8 rows this way by default. You can select as many rows or columns you want as per your requirement, and it automatically creates the table for you in the Word document. Now below that you have another option to insert table, and if you click on that, you can manually select the number of columns and the rows to make your table. For example, if you want 6 columns and we looking for 8 rows. Now and then press OK, and here you go, you have your table. Once the table is created, as you can see, you will get a couple of other options over here, which is design and the layout tab on the top. These are created automatically when you insert some of the functions and some of the things like table, etc. If you go back to the insert table option here, if you go to insert table again, as you can see, this table was inserted with a fixed column width. Now we can also change it to auto fit to contents, and then press OK, and create this, add another one over here. Okay, now if we go to the option of insert and then table, and then insert a table and auto fit to contents, press that. Now let's add some details over here: serial number, name. As you can see, as we add the data, it automatically adjusts the column width as per the content. So this is how you can adjust different this is how you can create different kinds of tables. So this is a fixed width column, this is with as per the content, and you had another option as well. Go back here, auto fit to window. So for example, let's go ahead, let's select this, and then if we go back here, sorry, if we insert another one, if we want to make it auto fit to window, let's see, it automatically adjusts the column width as columns, like overall columns, as per the size of the page. So these are different types of table you can insert with the insert option, insert table option here. Now other than that, you can also draw a table as well. Draw a table, then you can just draw a table over here, and then if you want to create like different rows, like, there you go. Columns as well. So this is, so if you create a box, just cancel it, and this way you can make a table of your own as well. So this is how you can create different tables with the help of insert option, and then by clicking on the insert table option. You can also draw it. You can also add an Excel spreadsheet as well. Other than that, you have some quick table templates over here. Whatever one is suitable for your scenario, you can insert that, and that will be added to your particular Word document. Now, next thing we're going to look at is how we can insert the Excel spreadsheet over here. So if we click on Excel spreadsheet, let's see, and now as you can see, it has inserted an Excel sheet over here, and on the top, as you can see, that we have all the options as we have in our Excel, and we have the formulas option and everything comes up over here. So you have the auto sum and all the functions as well. So for example, if we type something here, then it works like Excel. Now if you want to come out of the Excel, just click anywhere on the side, and here you go. This is how your sheet will appear in your Word document. And if you want to go back to the Excel sheet, if you click once, then you select it, and if you click twice, we will switch back to the Excel mode on your Word document. So this is how you can do it. I'm going to clear this for now. Select all, clear it. Okay, so we've covered the table option. Next in the insert tab is the pictures option. If you want to insert pictures, so let's go ahead and click on the pictures option here. And as you can see, we have a couple of options. We can insert the picture from this device, or we can search for online pictures. Let's see if we have any pictures here. Okay. Over here. Let's see. Nothing there. Let's see if we can use this as an example. Okay, might not be a good idea. So I mean, this is where you can insert the pictures. Let's use a different picture, for example this one. Let's use this. We have some control key shortcuts. Okay, we can make it smaller. Now, as you can see, if you click on this and if you want to move this picture to the right side, then we can't do it right now. So for that, what we need to do is, if we click on this, you have the format option over here. This is another tab which comes up when you have a picture inserted over here, and we need to go to the wrap text option and then make it square. And now you can move it up or down anywhere on your document. So this is how you can move the pictures while in the Word document. You'll have to go back to wrap text, and these are different options you can use. For example, here before that, if we had some text on the top. Now, if we want to move this up, as you can see, it clears up the space on the side of this automatically. So if we insert this here, it will clear up the space on this side. Now, next option over here, if we click on the format tab, we're going to look into this because this format tab or some couple of other tabs which usually appear for different objects, we're going to look into these as they appear. So next thing we were looking at the wrap text option. Currently we're using the square option. If we use the tight option, as you can see, the text has become more closer to the picture. It stays as close to the picture and it's not the square anymore. Here, as you can see, it is more tighter now. Okay, and then you have different through option, top and bottom makes the text move up or down. Behind the text, this might not be suitable in some cases. In front of the text, and if you make it happen this way, then you won't be able to see the text at the back end. You can also add the wrap points. For example, if you want to stretch this and you want to create some extra space manually, you can do this as well. You can use this one as well. So this is where you can add some extra detail if you want to. This is another option. You have if you want to make it a fixed position, you can also set that as well. So these are pretty much all the options for that particular side. Now, other than that, if you click on the picture, you have different picture styles as well. You can also use a different color of the picture as well. Like here, you just need to scroll to different options and then you can change the color. Okay, and this is just like the option we have on the page as well for the text. This is the same styles option for the pictures. And here you can also add some effects as well. These are different things you can do in the format tab. You can also remove the background as well. As you can see, it didn't work really very well here, but if you had flat background and there was a picture in front, it usually does a good job of that. So you can do that as well. Here you can also use picture border, and as you can see a small yellow border on the sides of the picture. As we click on it, you can choose different colors for the border as well, and you can also use the weight as well if you want a bigger border or a smaller border. So you can use this as well, and you can also use that loaded one as well. So it all depends on your, so you can create like different kinds of frames with the help of this. Next we have picture effects. We have some presets here. As you can see, it gives you different options to view the picture different ways, so you can use it in different ways. So you can use this, you can also use a shadow one, use soft edges, glow effect. These are all the you can also watch it in 3D as well. So you have different options over here which you can use to make your picture look better. Now next one is the picture layout. As you can see, it changes the picture into different shapes, so you can use these options as well as per your requirement. Next we're going to look at the position. It can either be in line with text or with text wrapping, so it all depends on where you want the position of the picture to be. If you want it on top of on the top, on the left corner, right corner, or at the bottom, you can see if we choose this option, it will be right at the bottom here. So this is how you can position your picture as well. You can also bring it forward, send it, bring to front, bring to forward, or bring in front of text. So you can use different options as well. And then next to this we have the send backward. So that way you can send wherever you brought. If you brought a picture forward, you can send it back using this one. You can also align it to the left or right or middle, and these are all the options you can use for your picture. Another thing I wanted to show you is text. Let's bring it on top. Now another thing you can do is you can also crop the picture as well. Let's see if we click on crop, and you'll see some on the edges of the picture, you'll see these lines, border lines. If we take the cursor to any of these and then bring it forward, and as you can see, and then once done, you click somewhere else, then as you can see, it has cropped the rest of the picture, and you can only see the part which is visible now. So this is how you can crop the picture. Let's go back to format, and you can also set the height and width of the picture as well. For example, let's make it 20. You just need to the good thing about this is you only need to fix one thing, either the height or the width, and if you select one of these or change one of these, it will automatically change that one for you, so you don't have to change both of these manually. So this is a cool feature as well, and as it does it automatically for you. So we've covered the picture part over here. Let's go back, select all, let's clear all the contents. Let's go back to our insert tab. Now inside the insert tab we have different options. Next to the pictures we have some shapes. We can use different shapes, for example an arrow, and then for each arrow, as I mentioned earlier, you'll have the format tab appear, and you can change it. You can apply colors, shape styles, and you have almost all the same options as you had previously for your picture as well. Let's clear this. So and then you can use different shapes over here. It all depends on you, so you can use any of these shapes. Next is the smart art option. Smart art is for smart people, not small, sorry. Here you have different options: list, process, hierarchy, relationship, matrix, pyramid, picture. So you have different options over here. Let's see if we use these. Cycle. That's okay. As you can see, it also brings the design and the format tabs along with this. Once we insert this, and we can use different shape styles as well. Once we've selected this, we can use different styles to make it look different. Here you go, we have options. Once we have selected it all, if we change the style, it will automatically show you a preview of how it will look if you change a particular style. So this is all about design and format tabs usually appear for all sorts of pictures related or any shapes related content, and you can also use the change text, the way text looks as well. So you can use the word art styles over here as well. If we go back to our insert tab, okay, and here we can also insert some charts. Charts are very good way of explaining your data as well. So here we have different types of charts. For example, if we use a column chart, it's okay. It will insert a chart for you, and then by default it also gives you the Excel file where you can add different data over here. For example, here series 1, if you want to change this to for example, if we want to change it to subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, and then these are the names of the students. John, Harry. As you can see, as I'm adding the data, it's changing names of the content in the actual table. Sorry, not the table, in the chart as well. So this is how you can do it. You can also change the values over here. Okay, so as you can see, we've seen, and if you close it, you will go back to this, and here you can see and you can also make it smaller if you want to. Here you can see how the chart looks in real time. If you want to bring up the Excel data over here, you can add, as you can see, you can add the data and you can adjust as per your requirements as well. If we click on this and go to the design option, here you have all the options to use different types of chart styles as well. You can also use this. This looks a bit more interesting. And you also go to the format option as well, and that way it brings up some different formatting options where you can use different shape styles, and you can also use the word art styles as well. You have multiple shape styles as well. So this is how you can use or insert different types of charts in the Word. Sorry. Let's go back. Let's clear this. Okay. Now next to this we have screenshot option. It lets you take a screenshot of your screen. If you click on this, it will the Word application will disappear and you'll get back to your desktop. And here, if you want, it will be slightly blurry, and if you want to take a screenshot, just select this area, and then automatically inserts that particular screenshot onto your Word document. So this is another cool way of taking a quick screenshot. You can also take a screenshot of your desktop by pressing the print screen option, key on your keyboard, and then if you go back to your Word application and then press Ctrl V, you can simply paste that word, which is the screenshot. You can paste it into your Word document. So let's delete that for now. Go back to your Insert tab. Next to this, we have the add-in options. These options are not much used in Word, but you can use it sometimes as well, but we're not going to look into this because there's not much use of these. These are usually used when you want to get some extra add-ins through your Microsoft account, so it all depends on you, but this is more like an advanced option, so we're not going to look into these for now. Next to this, we can also insert some video. Click on this here, online video. We can insert a URL or embed code for the online video. Let's see if we go to our this is the HNS Academy page. So for example, if we take this video, you can also check this video for your Excel tutorials. So for example, if we take copy and embed, or let's just take the URL, copy it and then paste it here. Let's insert this, and here you can see that it has inserted the video from our YouTube channel. And if you click on this, let's see if it plays as well. In most scenarios it doesn't, but in some scenarios it does. So if you click on this, as you can see, it is playing that YouTube video notification as well. Let's clear this for now. So this is how you can insert video on your Word document as well. Next to this, we go to the insert option. Next thing we're going to look at is the link function. So as we have some text over here, if we select the video and then go on to the hyperlink option, click on this, and then we can add an address over here, for example for Google, like HTTP or something like this. We can just add that link over here, and then that will take that particular, for example, video. If we click on the control and then click it, it will take it to that particular link. Where for now we had used Microsoft link, so link has to be a valid link, otherwise it won't open up. So for now, this is how you can insert the link. You can use unable to open up a link. That means that the particular link wasn't working, but you can use a link which is a correct link, so it gets you to that particular location. So this is how you can insert a link. Next thing is the bookmark option. For example, let's clear this. So for example, we have some heading here on the top, chapter 1. Let's see, we have chapter 2, and here we have the option. Sorry, let's insert some extra data over here. So let's say that this is chapter 1, and the title is like story, and then at the bottom you have this chapter Now here we have like a link to the chapter 1, for example. Sorry. Here, if it says if we want to create a hyperlink to different sections on the same document, for example, we want to go to chapter 1 and chapter 2. Let's see, chapter 1 is down here. It starts from this particular paragraph. So first what we need to do is we need to bookmark this area, which is this paragraph, and let's bookmark it. Let's name it chapter 1. We can't add a space, so make sure not to add any spaces over here. Let's add it. And now here to chapter 1, if we hyperlink it, we can hyperlink it to different things to bookmark as well. Let's select the bookmark, chapter 1, press OK, and press OK, and now if we click on this, it will take you down to the paragraph in chapter 1 is. So this is how you can use link and bookmark function. Next we have the cross-reference option. This is used for different to check how different things work. So this is usually used in the reporting side, so we're not going to look into this in detail. Next to this we have the comment option. Here I have our name, and if I want to comment on anything, I can say resolve this, or however I want to copy. And if I want to delete the comment, then we need to go to a tab called review, and here if you don't want to keep the comment, in order to delete that you would have to go to the delete option over here, and you can also add the new comment again over here as well. So comment is in the review tab and also in the insert tab as well. Next we have the header and the footer. Let's clear all this data and add some new text. Okay, now here you have the header options. By default you have different header options over here. Let's see if we select this particular one, and we can change the name of the file as well. Let's say it's as academy. Okay, now here we don't have multiple we don't have much data over here, so let's add some extra data. Let's say 20, and let's see, now it has gone down to second page as well. So now you can see we have multiple pages over here. And here on the top, as you can see, the good thing about header is that we can insert the same thing on all the pages. As you can see, it's appearing on all the pages now. So this is how you can use the header. If we go back to the insert tab, you also have the option of a footer as well. Same way, usually with the footer you would want a page number, and this is how you can insert a footer. This is page 1 of 9 we have, and in each page it will automatically increase as well. So this is how you can use header and footer. Now if we go back to the insert tab, let's select all this on the data and clear it, and here we can select all this and delete it as well, the header. Okay, now go back to insert. You can also insert the page numbers. You can insert it on top of the page, bottom of the page, page margins on the side, or we can use the current position as well. It all depends. So we can insert. There are different ways to insert page numbers. Next to this, so this is how it covers the header and footer part. Next to this, we have the little text option where we can insert different text boxes. Now, text boxes are available in different templates. So let's take this one. So this is one template. Then other than this, we have some other options as well. We can insert it this way as well. So these are different options you can use to insert different text boxes over here. And you can also insert a word art from there as well. And you can also, this option is to explore quick parts. So these are some additional features you can use inside the text option. Let's select and clear these for now. You can also insert the date and time if you want to just add in the current date for this one. There you go, you have the date. And if you want to insert the time as well, you can use this format to add it. Wherever you are, you can add the date over here. Let's clear this. So you can also insert a signature line as well. For example, if you want to add the name of the signer here, which will be myself, and then title would be owner, and then you can also insert an email address over here. Let's press OK, and then here you go. It shows you, and here it gives you the space to sign as well. So this is how you can add a signature line. Let's clear this for now. So next in the insert tab, we're on the last symbols ribbon. Here we have a couple of options. We can insert an equation. Here we have some templates of the equations or some sample equations which we can use. You can see if you click on this, it lets you insert this. And once you are on that particular equation, on the top you can see that a new design template, a new design tab pops up where you can use different things. Over here you have multiple symbols, you can use fractions, script. You have all the options which are required to create an equation. So this can be used when you want to prepare a paper or an exam for the students. You can use the equation option to I would recommend to make your papers in the Word, especially the printable ones. So you can prepare your paper here for the students and then just print it as required. So this is a cool feature. Let's clear this for now. Go back to insert, and then you also have the option to insert symbols as well. If you click on it once, it shows you some famous symbols along with some smileys as well. And if you go to more symbols option, then it shows you all the options which are available. If you click on this, you can use different fonts as well. That way you get the pictures and all the symbols in different formats. And you can use the famous one which we recently used are these, but it shows you all the currency symbols, and here are some other options as well which you can use to bring different types of symbols. And then once you want to, for example, this is the Apple one. If you click on insert, it inserts it. If you want to insert a pound sign, copyright sign. So these are different symbols you can insert, and you have loads of these over here. So you can use any of these, and good thing is it also shows you the shortcut key for each of these as well, which you can use to insert it manually. But I mean, I guess this is kind of impossible to remember. But you can memorize some of the famous ones which you're going to use on a regular basis. Okay, let's go ahead and clear this. So that way we've covered our insert tab. As I mentioned, insert and home tab were the main ones. The rest of these are not going to take as much time as we spent on the home and insert tab. So let's go ahead and move on to our next tab, which is the design tab. Now here in the design tab, as you can see, there aren't many options to choose from. So for now, let's add some data here. We have the text. Now if we select it all, and if we go to different options on the top, as you can see, it changes the format of the text as per the samples given on the top. And then we can also choose the color for the text as well. You can also choose the fonts. Next to this, we have the paragraph spacing option. Now here, if we go to this, where it says no paragraph space, it will remove all the space. This is by default. We want to keep it compact, like very closed, then you can use this. If you want to keep it tight, you can use this. You can use open for more space, relax. You can use double as well, where there are extra spacing between lines and between the paragraphs. And you can also set it to custom, where you can add your spacing manually and you can adjust it as per your requirement. Next, we have the effects option. Here, first let's select this bigger text. As you can see, it sets different effects as well. This will be available if we had added some colors, so it would be more prominent. So this is how you can use it. Use the different design function tabs. So next to this, we're going to look at the watermark option, because this is one of the famous functionalities of Word. Let's go to the watermark option. Let's see how you can insert it. Here we have some samples over here where it says confidential 1, 2, 3, and then we have more of watermark options, and we can also insert a custom watermark as well. If we go on top and then click on the confidential option, as you can see, you might not be able to see it properly, but it's showing the confidential one over here. Let's go ahead and add some more tags over here. So now it has the particular confidential watermark at the back end, but you can't really see it. Let's go back and let's make it slightly prominent. If we go to custom watermark, now here, if we want to make it slightly better or prominent, we can change the color to black, and let's apply it. Now at the back end, as you can see it more clearly. Now if we click on Ctrl P, it will show up as more prominent over here. So make sure you don't use too much bold colors, so it becomes normal. But I mean, once you print it, it won't be as just like this. It will be much less prominent. So here, as you're able to see, you can also use different options in watermark as well. Here let's go back to custom watermark. Here you have different options. You can either use a text as a watermark, or you can also use a picture as well. So for example, if we want to use a picture, okay, it's not working for now. So I mean, the idea is that you can also use a picture. For example, if you have a logo of your company, you can add it at the back end of this particular document, and that will show up on your Word document. So that's the watermark side of it. Let's go to next option. Let's clear all this data and let's clear the watermark. If you want to remove the watermark, just go back to watermark and remove it from there. Okay, next we have, for example, let's insert some text. Now we have the text. Next we have the page color option. We can use different colors for the page. As you can see, it's coloring up the page for us. So this is a cool feature. You can use more colors. If you don't want to use any color, we can go back to no color option. Next we have the page borders. This is interesting. Here initially we have the none option selected. We can use the box, we can use shadow 3D, or we can even use a custom border as well. So let's select a box and then press OK. As you can see, it has converted this into a box now. Okay, and next if we use the shadow option, okay, it shows this little shadow. If it is thicker, it would be more prominent. As you can see, it is more prominent now, and it has a little shadow on the side as well. So this is how you can use the page borders, and it once you click Control P, as you can see, it also the borders also show up on your print screen as well. So this is how you can use page borders. Now, as we are on the print screen area over here, let's go through some of the options over here. Now on the print screen, first you can choose how many copies you want to print that particular page. Then you need to select the printer. I don't have one set up, but you can use the one that you want to use. And then you need to you can either select the print all pages option, or you can give a range of the pages. For example, 1, 3, 6. If you want to print any particular pages, you can separate those with commas, and then you can insert those to put over here. You can put those over here to print those specific pages rather than printing all the pages over there. You can either print one-sided, or you can use manually print on both sides. For manual one, you'll have to insert the page. Once it prints one side, next side it will show you a pop-up on your printer to flip the page. Once you flip it and insert it again, then you can print on the back of that particular page as well. And then you would have to repeat the process after every single page. So that's that. Next you have the plated options. You can either do a plated one or unplated. You have a couple of options: portrait on orientation or landscape. Portrait means vertical, and landscape, if you change it to landscape, it changes the preview over here as well. By default, it is on portrait. Next you have the size of the page or the paper. Usually we use A4 by default, but you can also use A3 or Lego or letter as well. If you use letter, it changes the preview over here. By default, it will usually be A4. We can also set the margins. If we use normal, this is normal. If we use the narrow options, as you can see, the text has there's very little space between the text and the margins on the side, so we'll just use normal. And with normal you have the space on the top and on all sides as well. You can either print one page per sheet, or you can print multiple pages on one sheet, and that way it will be smaller. And it also shows you a small preview on the side how those 4 pages will look. So this is how you can print if you want to print multiple pages with very small text. Then you can just print those on one sheet or one piece of paper as well. Now let's go back to this is the print screen settings which you can do while printing the documents. These are very useful, so make sure you check this part with detail. Let's get back to our main screen here. So this way we've pretty much covered the design tab, and now I guess you guys might be tired as well, as I'm starting to get slightly tired as well, but let's get ahead and let's get into the next part of the video, and we're going to move on to our next step. If you want to take a small break, you can do it as well, and once you come back, make sure you share this video with your friends, like it if you're enjoying the content, and we're not going to be long because the rest of the tabs are pretty much straightforward and we don't have many options in here. So with that being said, let's move on to our next tab. Let's clear all the options over here. Let's open a new document over here. Let's close that one. Okay, so on the new document we are moving on to the layout tab. Inside the layout tab we have the margins option, which we've already checked before on the print screen option, so we've covered that. Next we have the orientation, we've already checked that, which is portrait and landscape. Next to that we have the letter size, so we have covered most of these options on the print screen option. So these are the repeated options which we are not going to discuss right now, as we've covered those already. And then we have the columns as well. If we want, for example, if we have some text here, and this first paragraph, if we want this into 2 columns, and we can separate it this way as well. This is usually when, as you see on different newspapers, you can separate this in Word as well. Let's go back to normal. Okay, next we have breaks. You can insert a page break, which we have discussed earlier, and you can also insert a column break as well, and which was in case as we separated the columns, we can insert a column break so it goes to the next side. And then you can also use the text wrapping options. You can go to the next page, continuous, even page, odd page. So in this way you can set the page breaks, so you can jump to a different page that way. Next thing we have the line numbers. We can use different types of line numbers. We can use continuous, restart each page, restart each section, press for current paragraph. So we can use different options over here. And we have the hyphenation option. Okay. So the way hyphenation works is, for example, we have some word over here. If we have the hyphenation on, which is on automatic, as you can see on some of the values here where it says picture, it adds a hyphen if it can't add the full a word on that particular line, it will add a hyphen, and then it will just divide the word into two sides where you have some of the alphabets on the top and the rest on the next line, and it adds a hyphen manually this way. Okay, next we have the indent options. We can set the indent. For example, we select this paragraph, and on the left we added, for example, 4. As you can see, it moves the paragraph towards the right. If we add it on the right side as well, then it will move it to the middle. So we have indented on both sides. You can also do it on top and bottom as well, before and afterwards. So this is how you can indent the text. Let's go back and clear this. This is pretty much all the options you have for the layout tab, and I guess we've covered almost all of the layout tab functions as well. So let's go ahead and go to our next tab here, which is the References tab. Now, References tab, this is usually used when we want to reference something, or we want to use the references. We usually use it in our reports or thesis work. So this can be handy over here, but it might not be a useful thing for everyone. So we're not going to spend much time on this. I'm going to insert some text over here. Okay. Now, first thing we have in this is the table of contents. Okay, so let's add a page, a blank page over here. So we press Ctrl Enter, and the text goes to the next page, and then we have a blank page on top here. Okay, now on this page we can insert our table of contents. So for the table of contents, we have some options here where it says add text. Now this add text function or feature will help us create the table of contents. We can set level 1, 2, 3. Let's see, we have heading for this, which says sample paragraphs. So that's a heading. Okay, and then at the bottom here we have another heading, new samples. Now let's make this a level 1 heading, and I'm going to make this a level 1 heading as well. Now this will help us create the table of contents. Now on the top we have a couple of headings for us. Okay, now on the top here, if we insert our table of contents, here we have different templates as we had before. So let's select the first one, and as you can see, it's automatically created a table of contents for us as per the headings or the 2 level 1 headings which we had used. Now another good feature about the contents is the table of contents is that if, for example, here we add some more data. Okay, let's add some. Let's add it so we have a lot of. Let's add 12. Okay, and now you can see the new sample. This has moved to a different page. It's on the 5th page now. If we go on top, it's still showing the new samples data on the 2nd page. So In order to update this, what we need to do is we click anywhere on this table of contents, and then up here it gives you the option to update table of contents. And here you can either update page numbers only, or you can update the entire table. If you click on select this and press OK, now you can see the new samples heading has been moved to page number 5. I've made a separate video on the table of on how to create a table of contents as well, which is already there, so you might want to go and check that out, as that might have some slightly better detail about how to create a table of contents. So this is how you can create a table of contents, and if you add some additional data, you can always update the table as well, so your contents table stays updated. Let's select everything and then clear it. Okay, now next thing we have is insert footnote. Let's first insert some data here. Okay, now insert a footnote. For example, for the powerful, we want to insert a footnote. So before that, if we take the cursor there, say insert footnote, and say we want to write that powerful means rich, and on the top here, as you can see, it shows a small dialog box on the top which says powerful means rich. So this is how we can add some additional info to some of the words inside the paragraph or inside your text. So this is how you use use your footnotes. Next, we can also use there's another option called next footnote, previous footnote, next endnote, and previous endnote. So other than this, we also have some options here where you can adjust the footnotes and how or where you want these to appear. So we're not going to look into this much detail. Next, we have the citations and bibliography. Now here, if we click on this, okay, we can insert a citation for a book. So this is usually used by the authors or the bookmakers, so we're not going to look into this in much detail. If you want, you could check it at a later stage, but I mean, this is usually for the bookmakers. We're not going to look into this in much detail. If we click on this, let's see how it works. You have different options: book section, report. So you can use different options, and then you can, for example, if we choose book, we need to add the name of the author, and we add the, for example, it says John. Title is Happy Days. I'm just putting in a random name. It was completed in 2015. You don't have to add the city name. So let's just go and press OK. And that's your citation here. This is where we, and now we have under the insert citation, we have this option here. If you click on it, it adds a small citation over here on the top for that particular book. So this is how you can use it. This is some detail. You can also insert the captions. You can mark entries, and you can also mark the citations as well. Okay, so this is how you can use the references tab. There's not much detail to it because at the main part of this was the table of contents, which I've explained already. Other than that, references part is usually used by the bookmakers and in your report, so we don't have to go into further detail in this one. Okay, next tab is the mailings tab. Okay, now the mailings tab is used to send mails to different people in bulk. So here we can start the mail march. We can create letters, email messages, envelopes, or even a normal Word document as well. Select the letters, it will change it to a letter. For example, let's clear all this. We have here first. What we can do is we can insert the recipients. So here we can have a new list typed in, or we can use an existing list. It all depends on you. Or you can also choose your contacts from the Outlook contacts as well. Let's look into this. So here we have some entries or details which we need to add. If we don't want to add this much detail, we can also customize the columns here as well. For example, here if we want we don't need the title, we can delete this. We want the first name but we don't want the second name, so we can delete this as well. And we can just keep the address. So this is how you can change it. First name, if we want to rename it, we can rename it as full name. So this is how you can customize it. And if you press OK, now you have first full name here, then company name, address. So you can, this is how you can customize the columns, and then you can add the data over here, then press OK, and then it lets you save that particular file here. You can save it somewhere and then you can import it. I'm not going to look into this in further detail. Okay, so we'll cancel this for now. This is usually to send out the details in further to different people. So mailing is used to merge all the mails and send it to different people in bulk from using the Word document. So this is how you use the mailings. Next we're going to look into is the review tab. Now review tab has some options here. First thing is the spelling and grammar. Now if we type something here, for example people, and we don't spell it right, as you can see, you'll see a small red line underneath that word which is not been spelled correctly. Now another thing is that this small editing tool pops up when you select something. So this is a cool feature as well, where you can do some quick formatting for your text over here. Now here, as you can see, there's a red line. So red line shows that there's a spelling mistake, and if there is like green or a blue line underneath it, it used to be a green line and now usually there's a blue line on some versions of the Microsoft Word. That shows that there is a grammatical mistake. Now here, if we click on the spelling and grammar option, it shows you that some alternate spellings for this particular word. You can use people, pepe, ballet. So these are all the alternative options you want to use. Now for this one, we can either ignore these, or we can let me add a couple of other things as well. So people, then we usually have some names. For example, I have a random name called let's say my name. Let's say we have an exception for this, so we say Hassan. We have an exception for this as well. Let's add a name. Let's say Priya. So we have an exception for this as well. And let's say so this is like, for example, let's suppose that this is somebody's name, like Neela, and we want to we want to keep it as it is, and we don't want this red line to appear underneath it. So now we have the spelling and grammar open over here. On the side, for first one, we want this to be changed with people, so we can use the people, select the people option. We can select either of these. Okay, we actually change it. So we select the people option, and then it changes it to people. We can either use the change option, or we can use the change all option. For this one, if we have different options over here, for example, we don't want to use any of these options, we want to keep it as it is. For this, we can use ignore once or ignore all, or alternatively, if we want to add this number or a name to our this computer's dictionary, we can use add, and that way, and the check is complete and this name has been added to the dictionary. Now if I type it again, it won't show that red line underneath it, because this name has now been added into our dictionary for this particular PC. Okay, next we have the thesaurus option. If we write something here, for example, if we write something like powerful, as we added earlier, and we search for it, it shows you the synonyms for that particular word on the side over here, and you can use those as a alternate in some of your text functions. So this is the function of thesaurus. Next we have, let's add some text. Word count. So word count shows you how many pages are there, how many words are there, how many characters with no spaces, with spaces, paragraphs, lines. So this shows you all the details about your particular Word document. Okay, next we have the translate option. For example, if we select all the text and we translate the document, there is a mini translator and then the translate option. For example, translate from if you want to translate it to Spanish, press OK. Currently it didn't work because I guess the internet is disconnected, so it's not really working, but it translates using the Google translator. So it would usually work if the internet was connected for now. Okay, and next we can change the language. We're not going to look into this for now because it might mess up things. So, but you can also change the language for your text as well. Okay, next we can add a comment. We have already gone through this part already, so we're not going to look into this in detail. We can also show the comments if there are any with this particular button. Next we have the track changes option. So now this is a cool feature. Now for example, if we click on track changes and we keep this on and we make some changes, for example, we don't want this document from Word. We delete this and then we add file. We delete this and we use the word file instead. Okay, we also change this to each one. Okay, and then here we can uncheck that. Now, as you can see on the side, if we click here, it shows you that what kind of changes we've made, and if you this is a good way of if you are checking a report or if you're checking the paper or something, you can track the changes this way, and you can let them, the students or whoever's report you're checking, you can let them know that these were the mistakes and these are the adjustments you've made, and this is how they can fix their work. Okay, so next we have some options. We can use all markup, simple markup, no markup, original. So this is how we can use it, and we can then, once we've checked this, we can use this. We can use this to accept all the changes, and that way it removes all those problems which were there. Or we can either accept this or reject as well once we have tracked the changes. Now we can also use the compare option as well. Usually we compare documents with different documents, so this is usually used for a comparison between two documents as well. We choose the original document, we choose the revised document. Currently I don't have any other files, so I wouldn't be able to do it, but this is how where you can add another document and then you can add tables. Currently we have the same file selected, so let us press OK. But if I had a different Word file, I could compare this with the other one, and this is how you can do the comparison. Now, next thing is very useful here. For example, click on restrict editing. Okay, let's clear it all. Let's go to a new document here. Here, if we go to our review tab, we can restrict the editing on this particular file. For example, if we add some data here and we don't want this to be edited, if you click on this, it will ask you, this will allow to read only and won't let anyone make any editing in the text. And once you check this, you need to select this option, which is yes, start enforcing protection, and it will ask for password. We can use 1234 for now. You can insert any password, press OK, and here you go. Now if I want to make any changes, it's saying the document is protected and you may only view this region. Okay, and now if I want to stop this, I would have to put in the password to unprotect this document. So this is how we can use the restrict editing function, and we can restrict the editing on any of the documents. Next thing, we're going to look at the view tab, and in the view tab we have different options here. For example, you can click on the read mode and switches to the read only option. It takes away all the top tools. Press escape to go back. Print layout is the standard format which is used with the margins. Then we have the web layout. This is how your text will appear on the website. Go back to the print layout, you go for outline. If you want to close the outline view, you can click over here, and we can also go to the draft option as well, but default is the print layout section. Now here you can use the page movement option. This might not be available on some of the older versions. It's a newer feature. Next we have the ruler. So if we uncheck this, the ruler disappears. If we click on this, the ruler will be there. If we select this path and check the grid lines, as you can see, it shows grid lines on your page. This is useful when we want to insert some pictures here and want the same size for another picture as well. Now if you uncheck it, it goes away. Navigation pane is the same thing, which is the find function, which can be used to find different things. For example, we write video and it searches it for you. So this is the same thing as the find function on the home tab. Next we have the zooming options. We can zoom the page. Okay, this is by default 100%. However, if we click on zoom, then it gives you different options and you can select the percentage as per your requirement. I'm going to go back to 70 for now, and we can also set the page to page width zoom. We set multiple pages, one page width is set one, or we can use it to art manually from down here as well. Now here we have you can open a new window while you're working on this one. You can also open another window as well, where you can work side by side while working on one of the projects. You can also arrange them all here. Currently I have 3 open, so I can work on this one, and on this side I can work on this one as well. This is blank, this is blank as well, but I have some data here, so I can work on all 3 of these together. So let's go ahead and go back to this one over here. If you double click over here, and it takes you to that one, and this is how you can go back to that. You can also split it between 1 and the 2. So, okay, remove split, arrange all. Okay, so this is how you can use these functions to work on different documents at the same time. And you can also click on it to do this side by side option as well, and then this way you can compare those as well, and then you can switch windows between different ones as well here. Next thing, we have the macros option. So we wouldn't be going into further details. Just a summary of this is that macros lets you record things, and if you make any changes to the document, then it is all saved via macros and you can review those at a later stage. So this is kind of a summary of the macros, but wouldn't be going into further details because the video has become slightly larger than I thought. So this is an overview of all the your questions related to Word. This is an overall tutorial. We've covered pretty much all the basics about the Microsoft Word. Hope you liked the video today. Please don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to share it with your friends as well, so everyone can get better at Microsoft Word application. And make sure to comment down in the comment section below to let us know about any of your queries. And if you've learned something useful today, let us know which part was your favorite so we can share it with others as well. And that's all for today's video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Have a good day. Bye bye.